Places like Carvania can actually go down even lower. Hey traders, hope you had a good trading day. Today was fairly quiet as we wait for Fed minutes. I do want to discuss Zoom and the implications for it and other stocks tomorrow. And I also want to talk about some of the companies that are coming out with earnings tomorrow and levels to watch. It's going to be really simple to talk about. But let's just go through this first and foremost. 12% year-over-year growth for Zoom, which is somewhat surprising. Now, the revenue to me was in line, 1.074. Estimate was 1.07. I'm not going to split hairs. I think what's really helping the company and why you're seeing it move up after hours is the cost cutting's huge. So now if you really zoom in on what's going on here, you can see where you're at up after hours. You're currently at 101.40 at the time of filming this. 89.33 is where we close. So the question becomes now, what are we going to do? Is it time to buy it? Well, I think it's impressive that they have $1.03 per share versus 87 cents. You have to give that to them. The fact that they're coming out with the same inline guidance, but that they are raising second quarter earnings from 92 cents versus 88 is impressive. They are in line with their full year revenue, but they adjusted the earnings to 3.77 earnings per share versus 3.53. So they're raising their earnings. So what this is telling you is that they're going to wind up cost cutting, whether that is layoffs, gross margin expansion through different products. They're going to do whatever it takes. So this is actually pretty promising compared to what we were expecting, which was essentially Armageddon. And I think you're going to have a lot of shorts out there that are going to feel that way, that they were looking for Armageddon as well. And we're just not going to see that. So watch this off the open tomorrow, but I think the shorts are a little trapped here, and we saw that a little bit after hours. I would just want to see how it opens. Now, I'm not going to tell you to rush in and buy something like this because you have to be really careful. But if you take a look at, let me show you this level because this level is probably everything. So watch this level, okay? Because look at how you're coming right to the level that I'm talking about, right? You keep bouncing around it and holding. So see how you do there. Oops, I got to get used to this system. Comment on this system. Tell me if you like it. I did make some changes based upon the comments already. The black background and some of the other moves that we have here. That should help make it a little cleaner. But you can see what I'm talking about right here, and you can see the kind of the line you're dealing with right now. You're a little bit above it. But watch this trend line tomorrow, because if you break that, that would be really good. Now, eventually what you'd love to see, and everybody would love to see, is a higher high. But that gets you to 108, 109. You're still in a stage 4. No matter how you look at it, you're still in a stage 4 move. So just understand where you're at in the pecking order. And then just watch how you act off the open. And you have a lot of other companies coming out with earnings, but we should talk about ARKK. So the cleanest way to play this, and who benefits the most, it's their third largest position. So I'm somewhat surprised that we're only up about 85 cents after hours. And there's a couple different ways to look at this. But if you were looking at playing ARKK based upon this, just watch right here and watch that level tomorrow. Watch 44.35. You could have put in a bottom here. Okay, this is possible that this is a bottom with this waterfall effect, this reversal. It is possible. You know, we go back to this all the time, and I point to these pre-pandemic levels and say, you have to get to these levels. You have to get, you're not going to get exact. Nothing's ever exact. But if you sit here and you start looking at these levels, it becomes increasingly clear that you got pretty washed out on ARK. So I would definitely watch that. Another way to play that is TARK. This just came out. It's a 2X ETF. Watch this tomorrow and just watch the range of this bar. Anything over this level is going to be interesting, right? Anything over that 23.18 level, that should be an interesting spot to take a look at it. And then if you think that Zoom is going to come in, you can either just stay out of the way, or you could short using SARK, which is a levered ETF to it. So I kind of like the fact that SARK's just kind of hanging in here. So I'm not really sure which way we're going to wind up going. I think the wind's going to can blow either way on this. Quite frankly, the way it ran up after hours looked like there was going to be a huge squeeze, and we didn't see that. And we've seen that happen with some names where it looks like they're going to squeeze. We did this with AMAT, where it looked like it was going to squeeze, and then it just imploded down. We did that trade on Friday in the trading room, did well with it. So you just don't know how they're going to open. But my rule of thumb is I was short this after hours, just FYI, and I covered it. when you're beating revenues and you're beating earnings going forward or even in line and you're expecting what we would call, an Armageddon quarter, I don't want to be short. I don't want the risk. So I certainly don't want the risk overnight. I'd rather see how the earnings conference call goes and then kind of go from there. But I do want to touch base on a couple others that you need to be aware of first thing tomorrow. Best Buy has earnings tomorrow. Best Buy's earnings and their foot traffic is going to play with NVIDIA, which everybody wants to watch and everybody wants to see how NVIDIA is going to do. Okay, retail, crypto mining. People are walking in Best Buy and this is where they're buying that equipment. I did a couple quick channel checks just to see what was going on. It took me less than an hour, but I could have bought as many of their top line product as I wanted to throughout I'm currently in Florida, and in South Florida, I could have gone to several different stores. So it doesn't bode well for NVIDIA, but you have a bunch of these companies coming out. AutoZone is coming out tomorrow morning. Pay attention to that. You're going to want to watch what's going on there. That's going to affect the car market. Places like Carvana can actually go down even lower on that news. Speaking of Carvana, why I have it up, you break that level. Okay, if you take that level out, 28.35, you're going lower. But watch how we act and watch which stocks do best. So in other words, you have Ralph Lauren tomorrow. Okay, is the high end going to do better? Is it not going to do better? What are people going to Chewy? You want to look, what you're trying to do here and what I'm giving you with these names is, are they going to Petco or are they ordering off of Chewy? You want to start looking at what's going on here. You're going to have to start doing way more fundamental analysis if you expect to have any kind of level of return that you had last year or the year before. If you're looking at doing pure technical analysis right now, and that's all you're doing, you're going to have a very tough time because the fundamental analysis is leading. That's why that's why we're doing so well in the energy trades if you've been following along, because we understand the fundamentals of it. I'm glad we hung in here today. I'm very happy that this close puts us at a 1, 2, 3, 4 day high close on the Qs. I think that's good news. Please subscribe to this channel, click all notifications. It's really important that you also like it, if you do like it, because that helps me get in front of the algorithm. And I appreciate it. Now they want TNX. I like this system better because it lets me draw on it. But again, your comments, I read them all. So if there's something on here where you don't like, if you don't like what is happening with the drawings or whatever, it helps me learn what to put on, what not to put on. So let's just keep that in mind. But I do like it. I think it's very helpful. Maybe it's just my ego that I want to circle things. I don't know, but I like it. So you can see like right here, the higher high. Let's zoom in on that, right? Higher high, low, or high. Okay, so when you start seeing signs like this in the bond market, start paying attention, especially when you're supposed to be selling bonds with the Fed. Right? Same thing right here. Let's draw another circle. Why? Because we can. Okay. And then you see here, so you make a low, then you make a higher low, and then you go flat here. So you're either going to form a rising wedge that's going to collapse, or we're going to break that 119 on the 20. You want to watch this because they're inversely proportioned to the SPY here. This is a really cool feature that I can do with this that I can't do on the other system. But if you take a look at this, you can see inversely, very clear, that once this started going up and people started selling bonds, that was it. The SPY started collapsing. So you want to look for signs, and you see how you stop here and then we stop. You stop here and then we stop. That's what you want to focus on. You're looking for correlations. Again, as I can't be any clearer, you're really going to want to make sure that you're focused on those types of correlations because that's where we're going here. You're going to need more fundamental analysis now. Now, this is a graph I introduced the other day, and I just want to point this out again. So when you are at these lows and you start breaking, and the line that we really want to focus on, it's right around 15. When you start breaking this down, you can see a waterfall effect. And that's what I'm looking for here, a waterfall effect. But these usually can mark bottoms. It marked it very nicely here. I'm just circling around because I don't forget about my new cool tools, but you can see that right here. You can see how that correlates to there, okay? If you come into this, you can see right here, you can see another one. And this kind of puts you, and you've only been here 3 times in 5 years and you're back at it. So you want to pay attention to things like this because that could correlate to this, and then that could correlate to something very similar, which is what I think is going to happen. I'm not completely convinced that we're out of the woods here like everybody else, but let me just show you this. I think that we could do something like this, and then from here bounce up, right? And then do something like that. Yeah, I do. I think something like that is possible. Let me clean this off and just pull this back a little bit so you can see what I'm talking about even better. So can you benefit from this? Like come down, have an event where it's a waterfall? Yeah, I think you can. Then you would bounce from here, see what you could do. From this, you would want to see, if you come back, maybe retest, or maybe you don't. From there, maybe you do, and then you go. But I think something like that is very possible, you know, and then you just play the game, right? So, but that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for something like that. Thank you for bearing with me tonight with this new system as we try to learn. Let's put that together right there so you can see. Please comment on this and let me know. Also, please subscribe to this channel. It helps me greatly. And also it helps when you like the videos. I had no idea how much it helps, and you can see that I don't purposely run ads to not waste your time. So you got your game plan for tomorrow. Anything else, feel free to reach out. Have a great night, everyone.